Okay, our objective is, now that we went over your cumulative exam and over the PSSA problems, is to use proportions to solve percent problems. So far in this chapter, we've talked about converting a percent to a decimal, a fraction to a decimal, a fraction to a percent, etc. So let me ask you this. How do you change a decimal to a percent? Just as a little review. How do you change a decimal to a percent, Shane? Good. Multiply it by 100, or what else could we do? Jackie? Nope. Good, right. So let's say we have 0.25. We can move the decimal point to the right 2 places, and it becomes 25%. Or, as Shane said, multiply it by 100, right? Okay. What if you have a fraction? Let's say the fraction is 17 over 100. What's the percent? Jordan. Good. How do you know that? Good. 17 over 100 is 17%, right? That's really easy. Today's lesson deals with something called the proportion method. Has anyone heard of the proportion method? Raise your hand if you have. A couple of you? Okay, Jordan, what is it? Good. Do you know what it means, like what the parts are of it? Okay, I'll have you answer that in a second. Camille, same thing as what Jordan said for the proportion method? Okay, all right. That's what we're going to talk about today, the proportion method, which part of it is P over 100. That's your basic skeleton proportion is what I call it. The P over 100 is any number over 100, that's the percent. 15 over 100, that 15 is 15%, right? 13 over 100, 13%. We're going to jump right, we're going to skip that for now. We're going to jump right to the bottom of page 7. I'm going to come back to this chart tomorrow. We're on 7-2, okay? So page 7, we're at the very bottom. We'll come back to the chart tomorrow. The very bottom is proportion method. I want you to write down what I have in blue up here. The proportion method, which I always call the skeleton, and I'll show you that later. A over B equals, there should be an equals there, P over 100. A over B equals P over 100. The proportion method is part over whole equals percent over 100. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Let's say we had 2 over 3. I'm just picking a random number. 2 is the part, 3 is the whole. This is always the total, okay? We are going to use this proportion method for a lot of lessons in this chapter. I changed some of the ways the book teaches you. There's something called the equation method, but I think this is much easier for you guys, as well as 9th graders. It just makes it easier. So we are going to use this a lot. If you like to do this a different way, go for it. But I want you to understand this method today, okay? Because we are going to apply it to a lot of other concepts. All right, so let's do an example. Flip over to page 8. Actually, go back to page 7 for 1 second, sorry. One more thing I want you to write down is the trick. Here's what I want you to write down for the trick. Is over of is equal to P over 100. I have never taught it this way. I was tutoring someone last year in 7th grade, and one of the teachers, I'm not going to take credit for it, one of the teachers shows them is over of. The part typically always has a keyword is in front of it, and the whole number typically always has a keyword of in front of it. So if you ever get confused as to what the part is and what the whole is over of equals P over 100 works a lot. The 7th grader that I helped last year and still help this year, and she's in 8th grade, uses this all the time. Is over of equals P over 100. So know both. You decide which one makes more sense to you. Okay? Sorry, just remember that. Okay, we're going to do one example of each type, I think. So let's see how this goes. So type 1, I want you to write down the top of page 8. Type 1 is finding the part, and then put in parentheses, which is A. And you could also write down, we're finding the is. Is over of equals P over 100. Type 1 is we're finding the A, which is the part. So the question is, what is 25% of 200? What is 25% of 200. Here's the skeleton. I want you to write down line and then an equal sign, I should say fraction bar, and then fraction bar over 100. That's how you always set it up. Where does the 200 go? Where does the 200 go? Abigail. Good. Why does it go on the bottom? Good job. This is the whole part. You could also think of this as is over of equals p over 100. Look, the word of is in front of 200. That always goes down here. The word of is in front of something. It always goes in the bottom. That's the whole. Where does 25% go? So make sure you guys are listening. Grace. Oh. Okay, because you see the is. Okay, what is, the question is asking us, what is the part? If is after what, typically it's, we have to find the is, which is the part. The p here, and this is for everyone, the p in the proportion method is always the percent. So always, and this goes for everyone, the percent is always above 100. Always. Does that make sense? That's why, Grace and anyone else, I am not a huge fan of this, but it might help you. I always say to myself, part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay? But again, this can work. You can use that. Joseph. Okay, just be careful because you're going to get harder. Okay, and you just want to make sure you understand how to set it up that way if you're going to do it that way all the time. Okay? Anyone else questions or comments on how to set that up? Part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, to solve this, I'm going to put my x here because we have to find the part, which is the is. We're using cross products. So we're multiplying across both ways, and then we're going to divide. So we end up with 100x is equal to 5,000. All we're doing is cross products. Divide both sides by 100. What is x? Mike. Good job. X is 50. So how can you check that? How can we check that, Jordan? Good job. 25 is 1/4 of 100. 50 is 1/4 of 200. Good. You can also, what else could we do to check? Peyton? Okay. Abigail, what else could we do to check? Yeah, kind of like what Jordan said, right? 50 divided by 200 is 0.25, which is 25%. Okay? Gio, is that one yours? Okay, where is yours? Does someone have the extra calculator by? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you. All right, any other questions or comments on this? Okay, let's go to type 2, and let's go to letter A. Okay, type 2, letter A, we are finding the percent. So I want you to write in and put in parentheses, we are finding the P, which is the percent. I think these ones are a little bit easier. What percent of 80, so here's our is over of 80 is 36. So I'm going to make our skeleton. We have fraction bar equals fraction bar over 100. And I'm also going to write down is over of equals P over 100 in case you like to use that. Let me ask you this. What goes above 100? I'm going to start here. Peyton. Good, good, the percent. Now, do we know what the percent is? No, we're looking for it. I am going to put an X here just because I always use X's. You can keep it as the letter P. You do not have to put an X, but we need to find the percent. So Nathan S., how do we know what goes over here? Good, that's the part. It's the what? I just didn't hear you. 80 is the part over. You didn't write down here. If you guys didn't write this down, make sure you have that written down. It should be part over whole equals percent over 100. So make sure if you didn't have that written down, that you have part over whole equals percent over 100. We're doing more of this tomorrow. Just make sure you have that written down. Part, good job. Whoops, why did I skip it? Okay, so 36 is the part, 80 is the whole. How else could you know where they go? What's another shortcut? Jordan? Good. Good. Of is in front of 80. It's always is over of. So the 80 goes on the bottom. Is in front of 36. So is goes on the top. 36 goes on the top. Part over whole equals percent over 100. You guys finding this pretty easy? Okay. Use cross products to solve. So go ahead and do that if you didn't already. I know some of you probably did. And I need someone to tell us what you got. Josh, what'd you get? Good, 45%. So x is equal to 45%. Again, another way to check this is take 36 divided by 80. Either simplify it or change it to a decimal. You will get 0.45, which is equivalent to 45%. Gio. Go ahead. That is the equation method. You just told us what the equation method is and you didn't even realize it. And Gio, you are correct. Just like Joseph found another way, there's a lot of ways to solve these. I am going to use a proportion method for all of them because this chapter gets to be a little bit more difficult, and I just think it's easier for you guys to see it in all one method. But you can do that if that makes more sense. Go ahead. So the percent. Yep. And that's fine. Just again, that's the equation method as well. You're just rearranging the equation method. I'm impressed. That was pretty good. Okay, type 3. I'm going to do one more, then I'm going to give you a little bit of homework to try for tonight. Okay, type 3, what do you think we have to find now? Jackie, which one did we not find yet? Good, the whole. So finding the whole number. The whole is b, which you could also say is of. Okay? So these ones are a little tricky. Type 3 letter A asks us, 276 is 73% of what number? 276 is 23% of what number? So I'm going to make my fraction bar equals fraction bar over 100 immediately. Someone help us to fill some stuff in. This type is probably the most difficult type. Ray, what can we fill in? How'd you know that? Good job. Good job. And that always goes above 100, right? Good. And we're finding the whole. Good. And you can either put b here or x. I have a bad habit of always putting x. But we need to find the whole number. Drew, question or answer? Okay. Use cross products to solve. Joseph or Gio, do you have questions or do you have the answer? Okay, hold on one second. Question or answer? Okay, give me 1 second here too. Anyone have questions? Skylar, question? No. Okay, Skylar, what'd you get? Say that again. 2. Good job. I was looking at the wrong one. 1,200 is the whole, so that's your whole number, which is b, and we used x, so 1,200 is the whole. Okay, Gio, what did you do? Yep, that works. Joseph, what did you do? That works as well. Yeah. Nathan S., what did you do? Those are all equivalent. If you three and anyone else that did that understand it that way, that's fine. We are going to do more practice with these tomorrow, and I'll start to mix them up so you can make sure that you really do understand the equation method if that's what you prefer. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs down. I only did 3 examples with you. I just want to say we're doing more tomorrow, but let me see where you are as of now. Okay, so can someone without looking tell us what is the proportion method? What is it? Peyton. Good. Part over whole equals percent over 100. You can use it to find the part, the whole, or the percent. Okay? Same thing as A over B equals P over 100, or is over of equals P over 100. That's something else I figured I'd add in this year. Don't have to use that. I like the part over whole equals P over 100. Okay, percent over 100. All right, I want you to try a couple problems. I know I need to do more of that tomorrow. We will. Okay, on practice 7.2. Okay, I want you to do 1 through 11, just the odds. Just try a couple of those. And then 13 through 16. So not too much homework. I wanted to spend more time on that today, but it was important for me to go over your test questions. So try this. You are using the proportion method for all of them, including the word problems. Tomorrow we'll do a warm-up, go over this, and I'd like to do more practice with you in class with this. Any questions for me? Okay, all calculators need to go back, and I need to figure out who's first today, so give me a second. Okay, boys, since